Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Dynamics 365 Security and Licensing Updates, What You Need to Know. I'm Sebastian Anderson with the Licensing and Database Desk here at Avantico. The holiday season is upon us, and our stockings are stuffed with D365 licensing updates. As teams wrap up projects, reflect on the year behind them, and prepare for a fresh start in 2026, Microsoft's January 15th enforcement timeline remains as fixed in our minds and our calendars as the North Star in a winter sky. To lead you down this snowy licensing road and into the new year, we're joined by Morten Løgstrup, our Director of Customer Engagement, and Tatiana Subotin, our Licensing and Database Technical Lead. They'll be walking us through what Microsoft's updated enforcement means for D365 users, how to leverage Azure Telemetry Insights to review actual user behavior and right-size license allocation, what's new in D365 user security and governance, how to audit your current license usage and roles, real-world examples of how clients avoided thousands in unexpected licensing costs, and finally, there will be a live Q&A, as well as a special limited-time licensing assessment offer for attendees. Morten will be taking over shortly, but before we dive into today's session, I'd love to share some of the other exciting webinars and events we have coming up. Bringing in the new year on January 6th, we have Maximize Your ROI with Dynamics 365 F&SCM Update 10.0.46. See live demos of the most impactful 46 updates, get practical insights on the 2026 release cycle, and learn how to align new features with your roadmap to maximize your return on investment. Following that, in early January, date still to be decided, join us for Streamlining Year-End Close with AMCS. Learn how Avantico's advanced multi-company solution can accelerate your month-end close within D365, optimizing journal processing, financial reporting, approvals, and much, much more. Keep your eyes peeled for more events from us, and be sure to let us know about any topics you'd like to see us cover in the future. All registration links for these events will be made available in the chat and on our website. One last note. As we go along, do not hesitate to pop any questions you have into the chat, and we will answer them either doing short chapter breaks or in the open Q&A section at the end of the webinar. If we don't get to your question live today, we'll answer it via email. This talk will also be recorded and distributed in a follow-up mailer for easy viewing later on. And with that, Morten, take it away.
Thank you, Sebastian. And it's actually 74, 75 degrees here in Miami Beach, so no snow so far. But but I am here with a Microsoft conference or Convergence 365 to learn about the new tools, but also especially the AI and MCP tools that we will be touching base on a little bit later today. Tatiana will show you some of the latest and greatest that you can utilize already today. I believe it's in preview to help optimize some of your security configurations. But since we have been over this actually 8 times now since Microsoft announced the changes, I will go rather quickly over most of the updates. And please just ping me if or ping Sebastian in the chat if there's any breakup. I am at the hotel next to the convention center, so it might be a little bit bumpy, the Wi-Fi. But so far, so good, knock on wood. The topics, same as last time, but Tatiana will jump into some new technologies that was released recently. I have a few updates I saw in the most recent licensing guide that I encourage you to check. And once again, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat, and I'm sure both Jacob, Sebastian, and others from our team will help answer them as good as possible. So what we know as of today, notification banner is case by case scenario. It started by May, then September, and now it's case by case. So I always start by saying this: no matter if you are on a CSP or an EA agreement, check your renewal date in 2026, because that's the one that dictates when your users will get a notification. The same with the enforcement. It's changed a couple of times, but it looks like Microsoft, at least the last 2 months, they have not changed the date. So it looks like it's going to be January 15. Again, it's a case-by-case scenario. So check your renewal date, the earliest renewal date. I have a slide with that in a little bit, because that's what's dictating the enforcement date. Right now, this is only accounting for commercial cloud and without having any statistic information around it, but it's probably 95% of all Microsoft customers that are on the commercial cloud. And then there's some that are on private cloud and government high and so on and so forth. But most of customers out there on the commercial cloud. There's still a couple of unknowns, but they are being solved fairly quickly. And there is some small bugs in the reports. We do see that there is some discrepancies depending on what exact SKU you have. And if anyone can remember, there have been a lot of promo SKUs throughout the years. There have been 40% discount. There's been from this to that, and so on and so forth. And some of them have expiration and some of them don't. So there's still some I'll call it discrepancies or unknowns when that is being cleaned up. But the majority of customers should be on NCE or new commerce experience licenses, which is all governed into this. The changes, we covered most of them last time. There has been a lot of changes since give and take October on the monthly licensing guide that Microsoft published. The most recent in December, and that's the one in the bottom here. And for all of you that are doing work with Power Platform, definitely go check in Power Platform Admin Center or PPAC your database entitlement, because that changed on December 1st or something like that. And I think I have a slide with the new allocations. They are pretty much giving you more storage per license. So that's a good one. Rest of all these, we covered it last time, but there were a significant amount of changes to finance and supply chain users, meaning we saw a lot of customers being bumped from activity license up to, for example, a supply chain or finance due to some changes in the security or the what can you do with a given license. We also saw here on November 17th that Microsoft rolled back some of those changes, which hopefully helped when you looked at your Power Platform admin portal. Any questions so far, Sebastian?
Just a few basic ones.
Yep.
One from Ramanan. What will happen to existing users under the new enforcement? So depending on when your contract renewal date takes place and whether your licenses are correctly assigned or not, what can users expect if they are not correctly assigned?
Good question. I have a slide in 4 slides time, and I'll show you how they are being prompted. It's pretty much a you don't have access screen. In the beginning, they will be prompted with a banner saying you need to contact your admin, and when the enforcement start, they will be prompted with a you don't have access screen. That's what we have been told by Microsoft. Yeah.
Awesome. And that is it for now.
Okay, good. I'll power through. Last time we also touched on this, and I think it's important just to spend a few seconds on, and it is if you have a lot of custom tables, check if you have more than 15, because right now a team member license can only create or modify up to 15. And if you have more, we see that for some, then you're automatically being bumped to a higher license. So check that. There's more information around it on page 63 or something like that in the licensing guide. But it's there, and it's buried in a appendix B or C or something like that. but it's there. Let's see here. We jump to the licensing validation plan. This have not changed since Microsoft published this licensing validation playbook. As it says over here, check your earliest contract renewal anniversary date. And we often get questions about what if I have annual terms, monthly terms, 36-month terms. What Microsoft have told us is it doesn't really matter because it's the earliest contract renewal. So most customers that have month-to-month licenses will be impacted the first. Here's a couple of scenarios. If you have a renewal date that are before January, you actually fall into January 15, sorry, you fall into a grace period for another year. But if you have a renewal after January 15, you can expect to follow this exact validation plan, where 30 days before your renewal, users will get that notification in D365 when they go in there saying, you need more license or you're not proper license, contact your admin. And then when the validation, the renewal date, you have 15 plus days after that to get your licenses correct. And I cannot stress this enough because we have seen for some customers, it can take months to clean up the security depending on what sins have occurred the past either months or many years, depending on how long you have been live, what ISVs you're using, and so on and so forth. So it can take a good amount of time to go from this is the current situation, and this is where we want to be. It can definitely take some cycles of testing, moving a new security framework to test to production and so on, and making sure that everybody can do what they need to do. There was a question earlier, what kind of screen will you see? So far, it's probably a mock-up, but this is the enforcement screen that we have seen, so users can expect that. We have yet, of course, because of the January 15, we have yet to actually hear it from any customers, but we are testing it ourselves, not licensing us. And this is again a mock-up, but this is the supposed banner that the users are being met with the minus 30 days before the renewal. So all this placed, nothing have changed. I have not seen since last time we spoke, which was give and take 4 weeks ago. I have not seen any change in communication from Microsoft. If you are admin in your LCS environment, you from time to time receive notification from Microsoft. I have not received any this month, but you might have received, hey, you're under license or you need to buy more license and so on and so forth. But they are increasing, as far as I know, the proactive communication to all their customers. So look out for these different messages, because what I say today might actually change already tomorrow. But I'm pinning down a couple of Microsoft people after lunch and seeing if there's any changes coming. This also remains the same. We know that the licensing validation is only for production, so no worries if you have more users in your sandbox. Admin accounts are still not counted as a licensed user, but if they have other security roles, they are. So let's call them clean admins. The same goes for service account. You don't need license for those. Do double check, because we have seen from time to time where some service accounts actually require license, and then we need to trim down some of the security roles. It's currently not on Microsoft's roadmap to enforce an in-app notification and so on for device licenses and storage, but because you have entered into a Microsoft customer agreement, you are obligated to, of course, follow their policies and so on. So if you have devices in your warehouse better get it licensed now than risking an audit or something like that, because that is painful. There's a number of tools. We have talked about them. It's the same, no new tools available. The reports are still the same. Tatiana will show you a couple of new functionalities, tools that have been added to the security governance workspace, but the reports remain the same. I have a few slides. Let me actually, any questions, Sebastian? I'm powering through here.
Right. So far, you're good to power through. No new questions. And feel free to post any if you do have them in the chat.
Yep. So last month, I believe, we had the call. I mentioned that there's a couple of new tiles. Microsoft have been so great to actually add another tile, and it's not this one. I might have missed it on see here. Let's see here. There's another tile. I'll find the screenshot in a second. But as mentioned earlier, go to your Power Platform Admin Center, because it's here everything starts. If your numbers over here to the left, the 276 and 201, seem high, the unlicensed users, definitely reach out, and because you are in a risk of having to buy a bunch of licenses if you don't change your security configuration. One thing about the Power Platform Center that's important is it updates now, I believe, every 6 hours. It might actually be all the way down to 4 hours, where initially it was once every 24 hours. So if you make, when you make changes in your security setup, you can expect that to reflect maximum the day after, or end of day. So make the changes and then go back to the Power Platform and see them reflected here, because this will be the driver for the enforcement, or you can call it the main report that you have to focus on. And this report is replicated into LCS, so that should be the same. Any questions, Sebastian, before I jump over to database capacity?
We have one from Horacio. We are using warehouse app for inventory. What happens with that regarding internal users? What sort of licenses will they need? Will it be team members? How does the warehouse app land in the licensing landscape?
Good question. Good question. It all, so we recently did an analysis for a customer with give and take 100 devices in the different warehouses. And initially, those devices actually had way more than just a device license from a security perspective. So we had to go through some iterations to trim them down to a device. And a device license can be accessed, I believe, by up to 50 or 75 people. I can't remember the exact number, but it's actually a lot. So if you have users that are working on a device, they don't need a license if the device is licensed with a device license, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If the users need to do more, then we would of course look at the different individual users, and then we will see, hey, they're actually doing more than just what the device, the mobile app, is providing. Then they would need another license, but no team member is needed if they fall under the device license. So in the case I'm referring to, I believe they have 8 or 9 people that are using one device. So instead of buying 8 or 9 license for these users, they buy one device, and then all the users can access the device. So it's a little bit case by case scenario, but most of the time it is recommended that you go with the device instead of the individual licenses for the warehouse workers, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely keep your eyes peeled on that topic, but that sounds about right for now.
Quickly touching base on Dataverse. This is very, very expensive. Don't ask me why, but the prices for finance and operation, database storage or capacity, and Dataverse capacity or storage can be significant. So please go into your workspace in your Power Platform Admin Center, check if you are over your entitlement, under your entitlement. We have seen customers running into audits with Microsoft. We have also helped customers reduce their size because there is some things you can do. For example, change your batch job history. Is it 90 days? Is it set to 60 days? Is it set to 30 days? Stuff like that. There's all kind of things that can cause your database in F&O or Dataverse to be jacking up space or unnecessary space. So there's actually a lot of good functionalities in here where you can drill into the different workspaces and see what's actually causing the overage. So this was the old database entitlement metrics in the licensing guide. This is the new metrics in the licensing guide, and I believe on page 6050 or something. I looked at it this morning, but they have split it up, and you can actually see that they have bumped up some of the entitlement that you get per license. And it should already be reflecting in your Power Platform Admin Center. So good news, more database for everyone. Everybody is happy for that. But who knows? There might be some charges that we don't see right now. Any questions, Sebastian?
We are clear to proceed.
That's perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So advanced analytics, why is this important? Assessment. Since Microsoft announced this, Tatiana, Brandon, Sebastian, and others from the team, I think we have done 40 or 50 licensing assessment from companies with 30, 40 users in D365 up to 4,000 or 5,000 users in D365. The problems are the same, but the remediation time is just very different depending on how many users you have in the system. So we do recommend that you take this very, very seriously because the cost can be outrageous, and we don't, of course, want users to lose access to the system when these changes are implemented. So we do offer some more advanced insights into why is your security model the way it is, what's causing the users to fall in certain bucket, and then how can you trim down the different security assignments or security roles so that they fall into the bucket that you prefer them falling into. And it's not just there's no magic sauce for this yet. And I'm saying this because sometimes when we run into customers that, for example, went live 5 years ago, the licensing guide or the licensing requirement have changed so many times over a year. So if you went live many years ago and were told, but these people were team members that can easily have moved so that today the require activity or the require full users unless you are trimming down some of their access. So we do this. It also a good task to do on a I would say biannual basis, 2 times a year, just to make sure you're compliant with your internal audit. Can I save some cost? Are we ready for the next renewal, and so on and so forth. It's a healthy exercise. The way we do it, initially we just need a 60 minute screen share. We extract some data, make sure you have enabled the telemetry, help you enable telemetry if that's needed. And we also give you a couple hints to where you can look and so on and so forth. We then analyze the data depending on if you have telemetry enabled or not. It might take 5 to 10 business days depending on the data amount and levels and ISVs and so on. And then we deliver the report back, and it's normally a 40-page document. I think actually it increased recently because there's more and more functionalities, but you get everything so that you can decide, hey, we can do all this, or we would actually like a Vantico to help us with A, B, and C. So we do that. Deliverables, I don't want to talk more about this. I actually want to hand it over to Tatiana unless there's any questions, comments in the chat.
We have one sort of a combo question and comment from Ramanan. Assigning licenses seem to be much easier in previous versions of Dynamics, like AX 2009, for example. This is a little more complicated. Are there any third-party tools to perhaps drag and drop manage and easily assign these sorts of licenses?
It's
I can say right away that there is unfortunately no extremely easy third-party way to manage this. There is some new functionality, though, that Tatiana will go over shortly, and I'll allow Morten to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I can. If I understand your question correct, is there any easy tools to assign licenses? So I don't know how many users you have in your system, but if you have, I my philosophy is like, what if I can do it faster than automation, then I do it faster manually. And I think I only have to do 15 or 20 licenses manually, and say, no, automation is better. So if you have hundreds of thousands of users that you need licenses assigned, we do provide what's called a PowerShell script, and that PowerShell script can actually automatically assign the licenses to the users. And that works across M365, D365, you name it. Another way that we have seen customers doing it is by adding new users to intra groups. Then they automatically get a license assigned. But if your issue is, I have 500 users, I need licenses, team, activity, finance, supply chain, whatever, assigned, then we can write you a PowerShell script, and they can be assigned within a couple of minutes. Yeah. Any other good questions?
Just a comment from Anil Verma. What about FastPath for assigning licenses? Is that something you're familiar with?
No, so actually, there's a couple of fast path. Fast path. I was thinking fast track. Fast path, the security tool. Maybe Tatiana actually know that. I don't think you can use that to assign with. You would normally go into your admin center and then assign licenses similar to when you assign Office 365 and Windows and so on. FastPath, I do not know if you can use that tool. You would use a PowerShell. That's the best way to assign many licenses at the same time.
Yeah, that's definitely the way we stand by.
Yeah.
And with that, we will hand things over to Tatiana for a little bit of a technical demonstration. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, gentlemen. So talking about license assignment, I worked with the FastPath in the past. It's a great tool for tracking analysis for the segregation of duty. I haven't used this tool as a FastPath, I will be honest. I don't know if FastPath provides this functionality. However, as Morten and Sebastian mentioned already, and it's part of our package. We always provide the PowerShell script. It's if our customers didn't notice, it's always provided. PowerShell script is provided because I know how painful it can be to do it manually. So it's just part of our package. First, second, I know that. I haven't done this myself, but I heard it from the customers when we provide this as part of the package. One of the customers mentioned that we can use your PowerShell prepared data for the PowerShell, right? The script to upload to assign licenses via a file. There is an option. I haven't used it, but customers customers mentioned this once, that a customer mentioned this once, that it is possible to use a CSV file and in Entra to assign license in Admin Center to assign licenses. So and what else we also explored is an license assignment via Power Automate. So some customers are thinking like one step ahead. What if we want automatically assign licenses, right? As Morten mentioned already, we can use user groups, which is a great option for automatic assignment. Is that another great option when people try to avoid user groups for some reasons, is a Power Automate, which also can assign licenses. So there are ways to do it. One of the ways is included into our package. Let's talk about security today. So I'll share my screen. I'll show you where we are today. So we still have the same security governance. It's already GA, live, ready for utilization. What we, of course, like all of us, we're happy to do. What I noticed new in this, and I will show you into different environments because they're on slightly different versions. So one version has features, the other version doesn't have features. One environment fully configured, another environment is not fully configured. So I have to jump back and forth, but I will try to make it the picture complete. One of the features that is very useful and very helpful, one of those that I noticed for myself, right? I explore the same way like you guys do. So you probably know that there is a security process role maintain option in the security governance. Sorry, I just don't want to repeat everything what we said in the past. If you have questions, please ask, and I will get back to the information that we delivered in the past. But let me show you the new features. This process hierarchy, I don't know how you guys use it. I use it widely. This is a test environment. I use it in the real environments mostly. I use it widely when I need to find some I need to find specific, I need to fine tune security, and I need to find hidden, let's say, action menu items that are not available in security diagnostics for task recording. Security diagnostics for task recording is an old function. You can record it, the steps, right? Of the task, and then you can upload it into the security diagnostics for task recording, and it will break it down into the menu items, and it will suggest what security role is required for each menu item, and if the user is missing any security, any of them. This old tool covers only display menu items, so it doesn't cover action menu items, it doesn't cover output menu items, while security process role maintain covers all of them. And if you need to break it down, like the task recording, you recorded something, you need to break it down, you can easily create a hierarchy, a security category. You can upload a task recording, load from task recording. You can upload your task recording here. It will break it down, and it will show you all menu items. And what's even more important, it will show you security object references, roles, duties, and privileges required for each of them. Why it's important? Because we have, like, we didn't have any tool before in UI to catch action menu items like badge jobs or buttons. Somebody clicked the button, what privilege is behind this button, or output menu items, reports. We didn't have it. Now we have it. It's here. But why I'm talking about this? What I like about all of this story, yes, task recording is my favorite probably. But what else? What else I like? When you configure, you probably model the way like I do, the same way or similar way like I do. We model security, right? We create a new role. We don't push it to for testing yet, but we work on our security like from project to project, like in pieces. And sometimes we don't want to mess it up with the main security. Sometimes we want to move it to another environment, kind of like a development task, kind of like a modeling task. You want to assess your new security roles. This is what FastPass provides. Like it's a great tool for modeling, right? So there is a modeling piece in finance and operations too now. And if you go to the security category, there is another great piece. You can back up this category as an XML, and you can restore from XML. This is new. Oh, this is something new. So before we didn't have any way to extract security partially, right, from finance and operations. All we used to have in the past is security configuration, data export, and this data export exports all configuration, everything what you've done, all your customizations, everything is going to be exported. And then if you spend quite a few hours, clean it up, extract the piece that you need, like the role that you need, or the privilege that you need to move it to, or like the subset of roles, subset of privileges, duties, and to move it to another environment. You don't want to recreate your security manually, right? All the time when you move it from one environment to another one, you have a high, you can introduce a high risk of error. So to avoid these hours and hours of cleaning the XML, which is absolutely unfriendly, user unfriendly, you can use this great security category tool. You can configure, you can add the roles that you want to be inside of this security category. You can configure the processes if you want, and you can extract it. It's going to be quite consistent, much more consistent than we do it manually. And then you can import it the same way, either through the security category, as I already mentioned, right here, right, restore from XML, or you can restore it through the security configuration also, like import. This is the first one. The second new feature is advanced user security. Advanced user security is a new feature where you can provide access to certain things, and as you see, view access. It's like an easy way to do it, right? You don't, if you want a person to see internal projects, it's a view access. You see, it's all view access. Then you just like click it here, and let's take my user. I want, for example, see the new projects, the project hour cost, vendor invoice approvers, like all of this, right? I save it, and My user is a system administrator, but this tool is, it's like it's an easy way to provide access to different like view access to different areas of finance and operations. Unfortunately, there is no documentation yet on this feature. Unfortunately, nobody knows how it's gonna work. I haven't found anything. If you find it's please share. I'll appreciate it. So my efforts to find this documentation about this new feature so far failed. I'll be honest, but there is something new coming, and it's also under our security configuration. So something what we can expect. The third new feature, it showed up in 1044. Yes, Morten, I know you are looking forward for this new feature. It showed up, and it seems like Microsoft called it back. At least in our environments. It was a few weeks ago, it was there. This is why I said I have tested this feature, but it's not there on 1046 anymore. It looks like it's called back. So this new feature, and it's probably like a temporary callback. I hope it's a temporary callback, because this new feature will allow us quickly update security roles to certain license when we duplicate them. Unfortunately, I checked all of our environments. They're all on 1046. Morten, I'm sorry, I'm not going to demo this today. Maybe next time, if it shows up again. It was in 1045, 1044, 1045, not on 1046. Yes. What else? I noticed? Let me go through the questions that people often ask, and also like new features that are coming and that have no the documentation is probably a little bit behind. Another new feature. Let me show you another new feature. No, we promised to show new features. Let's do this. Okay, I showed the advanced security. Let me show you similarity. There is a new feature. Here in the parameters. I'm often asked about, first of all, how to use user agent periods, how to use user agent report. User agent report can be configured. This is not new. This is an old feature, but people barely use it. You can configure periods here. The configuration is under the system administration setup, security governance setup parameters. You configure agent periods and you run your user activity agent report with the periods, with the agent periods. In this case, you see how often people use your environment, and it provides the breakdown by period. This is helpful. That's what people usually ask, like, why does it show, like, why does your agent report shows the agent periods and our doesn't? Because of the parameters. The second new feature, this is new, check for similarity. Check for similarity, again, this is a new feature and there is no documentation. So it's something upcoming, and I hope that Microsoft is going to provide some documentation for us and let us know like how to use it. But like how I cannot tell you how to use it. It's coming. Just keep an eye on this. This is something new. Microsoft introduces from version to version. Microsoft introduces lots of security related things, and sometimes the documentation is behind. There is nothing new in the feature management related to security, but there are new features that came in with the version updates. Again, let's keep an eye on this. How to use similarity is probably the tool that is going to be available. What else? Probably nothing new. Nothing new here in the license security governance. Nothing new here. However, what questions we sometimes discuss with the clients, and it's quite interesting. So the clients often have, it popped up a few times already. This is why I bring it up. The clients quite often have temporary workers, and these temporary workers need security to be assigned and revoked on time because they work shifts. So in this case, this is probably a good case to use temporary role management. Temporary role management, it requires an approval from the system administrators. However, it can assign a role temporarily and revoke it. This user requires a license. You need to remember. So this user is not excused from the license. This user requires a license if you assign a role temporary. And let's talk about license analysis, the way where we are with the license analysis today. Now, first of all, doing a recent analysis, a few analyses for the clients, I came across quite a huge issue. It was a couple of weeks ago when three users across among probably like 200, 250 users, 3 users had the same license requirement. It's a license report. So when we're looking at the license report, we I'm asking you right now to pay attention to this when you're checking your license requirement report, because that license requirement report for that client, for those 3 users, it required finance, supply chain, and team member. So supply chain was a base required license, finance wasn't touched required license, but team member was a base required license, and the team member was counted as a required license. Unfortunately, so 3 users only among probably 200, 250 users. When you're checking this report, please pay attention to this. It can happen. Just alerting you. Eventually, of course, Microsoft will clean all the issues, but this is what I've seen recently. What else? If you want, and we bring it up every time since probably June, July, we encourage you to activate your telemetry, because telemetry gives us a lot of information. Again, the common, quite common, let's say, if we take a very general assessment, how much we can save on the security, right? Normally, it's from anything from 15% of your license cost to 50 to 60 to 70. No, probably it's close to 30%, probably 40% of your license cost. It's very common when we save 30, 40, 50% of your license cost. How we do it? We take your telemetry, and this is the key. And I know that somebody will tell me, like, it's not perfect. No, it's not perfect, but it's still the key. We take your telemetry. It should be configured. The configuration of the telemetry is very straightforward. You create an application inside resource, you register it. First 5 GB a month are free of charge, and you configure telemetry. You get 2 properties from the telemetry here, instrumentation key and connection string, and you configure your telemetry in the security administration. Here, monitoring. So this is your instrumentation key. This is your connection string. Since it's configured, it starts recording all activity, like all activities that users do in your system, and you run a very simple query. One sec. A very simple query. Or our and you get this data, this kind of data. So it shows when, what menu item, what user, and how long this user used since you activated your telemetry. It's easy to export this data to CSV. It's easy to share this data. It's easy to analyze this data. Why this data is important? Not everything is registered. Yes, I know, like the people who argue to telemetry usually tell that not everything is registered, but we don't try to register each single step. We try to analyze whether the privilege is used or not, right? And we identify the privileges that have been used. And also we take into account that some privileges have never it seems like they have never been used because they are used for the integration, like CRM integration or any kind of integration, right? Some privileges are used in the warehouse mobile app. Some privileges can be used by the service accounts. Again, it's an integration point. We also should take into account that some privileges, like privileges created for the external users, should not be revoked because the external users are an absolutely different story, right? So we don't, when we help to configure optimal security model to the client, we don't cut everything off. We don't say like we're not restricted. We're not trying to restrict a client, like saying that only these privileges should be used because telemetry tells us that nothing else. No, we take into account different points. And we always say telemetry shows us what's used, but it's not limited to what we are going to include into our security model. But telemetry actually is the only point of truth when we can measure what's used, right? This is the only measurement we have so far. Unless we, of course, like we ask users to record, do their task recordings of all of their daily tasks. But if we don't do it, telemetry is the way. And by analyzing telemetry, we provide lots of analysis. All of these measurements gives us a lot. And we provide optimal security configuration based on this. So that's the point. Please activate telemetry and ask how to do it, or we will be able to, we will be happy to help you. Ask how to analyze it. Also, we will be happy to help you. Ask how to create an optimal model of the security. Again, it's all that we can help you with, and we will be able to, like, we will be happy to do it. It's not a huge project. It's really something what we can do together. More than what else should I say? What did I miss?
You're almost there where you have to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. No, I think you covered a lot of functionalities. I think the most important thing on top of all this is to stay tuned. If there's new functionalities coming, we will try to write a blog post or post about it on LinkedIn. So connect with us in there, or reach out directly to Tatjana, Sebastian, myself. And we are happy to look at your specific case or scenario or question, because there is many ins and outs. The last thing, Tatjana, is probably we recently delivered an analysis to a customer that had been live for give and take a year, and he pretty much told us that, hey, this is so difficult to manage unless we have a full-time employee on staff. So how can we actually get ready for this going forward so we are not 100% dependent on partners? And the answer to that, and I know it's different from organization to organization, is if you do not have a person in-house that can manage and monitor your security framework, see if you can work with a partner that at least can train you up to a certain level. And then my recommendation would be to have monthly or bi-monthly meetings where you go through different scenarios so you become more and more familiar with the security tool, because it is complex. Nobody is disregarding that. I think
Absolutely.
that was my spiel, Tatjana.
Oh, I've been doing this for how many? 7 years, 8 years.
Something like
Security,
that.
yeah, I mean security. 15 years of F&O and
Yep.
7 years probably security. Security, you can learn security, and you can learn, you can kind of like simulate Microsoft calculation. What's behind always is the risk that you either lose functionality when you cut a lot, or you didn't take something into account, and your license requirement is going to be higher than you expected. It's always a risk. This is why I vote for measurements like telemetry and go with this, like absolute bare minimum. And yes, we need to cover, when we take telemetry, again, take it into account that your month consists of cycles, right? There is a month closing cycle. There is an activity cycle. There is another shipment. Maybe you have shipment cycles. Maybe you have production cycles. Like we produce actively this time of the month, and we probably like do something else actively the other time of the month. So when you capture telemetry, you need to remember that telemetry should represent all cycles of the month, and otherwise we can lose some functionality required, and all of a sudden, people cannot do, like during the certain cycle, people cannot do their job. So that's another thing. That's another great point that the clients brought up recently.
Other than that, thank you for attending, everybody. Yeah, I think we are on time.
Yeah. With that, one might say photo finish. We've landed right on the dot here at the end of the show. So thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate your questions, your attendance. If you have any other questions for us, or need help, or know someone who needs help with their licensing, please feel free to reach out to us. We have our emails there in the chat. And we look forward to hearing from you going forward, and wish you the very best of luck, both at the holiday season, in the new year, everything going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays, everyone. Cheers.